185milessouth.com.
Smash that Patreon button.
185 Miles South, a hardcore punk rock podcast. What's up, everyone? We are back and talking hardcore. This week, we're talking 1999. Helping out, you know him, you love him. It is the best dressed man on the pod. It is Daniel Sant. What's up, Dan?
The lamb and the goat have fused as one.
Also up and out, it is Ben Merlis, a.k.a. Ben Edge, a.k.a. Bedge. What's up, Ben?
What's going on?
And rounding us out, don't call him Cincinnati. It is the man known as Clevo. What's up, Clevo?
Who took the bump?
That's what's up. All right, dude, the year is 1999. Dan, what's up with 99, dude?
99 was a year I was extremely active, extremely just give me everything. And then going back and looking right now, I'm like, it's weird. I'm not going but do you know what I mean? I would have thought with how much I was just voraciously inhaling hardcore at the time, I thought there was going to be so much, but it is it's very funny because what we've talked about in the past is like complete traditional root stuff and all the classics that you're supposed to love. People have made sure that stuff's on Spotify. And then obviously everything 2006 and on, when this kind of streaming stuff was becoming a lot more big, has been all on. And then there's this weird gap of like 96 to like 2006 where it's hit or miss if it's on Spotify or on any of the streaming stuff. So that element of it is a little unsettling and sad. But even if the playlists aren't out there, we urge the listeners, if we pick things that aren't on these Spotify things, seek out these songs because there is some great stuff from this era.
Yeah, dude, 99. First of all, it's the final year of the 90s that we haven't done. So everyone, if you haven't taken this journey through the 90s with us, jump in those archives and check out all the other Super 7s that we've done for these years, because that shit is wild. And then the other thing I want to say is this is 25 fucking years ago, dude. You feel old yet?
Very much so.
That's fucked up. This is a very transitional year, I think. We did that podcast a couple months ago on the Youth Crew revival dying at the end of the 90s, and we did an episode of the stuff that came out of it. I don't know if that's aired or not yet, but this is the year before the Tragedy LP comes out. This is 2 years before the American Nightmare LP comes out, but the 7-inch comes out I think in 2000, the first 7-inch. So there's going to be a giant sea change next year. This is the tail end of a lot of stuff. This is actually some of my favorite shit is this year. So again, kind of like when we did 86, that's a crucial year, but not a deep year. And for me, I kind of feel the same way. The stuff that I'm going to pick, I absolutely love, but I don't have 40 things that I'm narrowing this down to. So yeah, Clevo, what do you think?
So, yeah, I was going to bring up that, we did those 2 episodes and, depending on when this one airs, the second half of our examination of 90s hardcore may or may not have aired already. So that's something to look forward to. 1999 is definitely a transitional year. That's when, 10 Yard Fight breaks up and, the first Edge Day. So yeah, we're in the 25th anniversary of the original Edge Day. So if you didn't feel old, that's something else you can ponder on. So yeah, so there is a big change. I think that things were sort of running their course. I don't want to talk too much on it because I think that that's going to be part of our conversation. Some of the stuff that we'll be talking about tonight. But yeah, it definitely was kind of that idea that moving into the 2000s and things just kind of were starting to fall into different buckets, and people were kind of examining some different things as things were maybe getting a little stale in what we were used to.
The other thing is 1999 gives us the third version of the Only the Strong comp on Victory. Clevo, rank them 1 to 3.
Rank it 1, the 7-inch, and then who cares about the rest of them?
Damn, son. Dan, do you like either of the other ones?
Yeah, Built to Last is on the 1999 one with the best version of that song.
There's good shit. There's good shit on there. I'm gonna pluck from it.
I was today years old when I found out that there's a third installment in that.
Okay, well, I shouldn't have said anything. Those are all my picks, so please leave it alone, guys. Ben, were you aware of the third Only the Strong?
No, because in my mind I have Victory Style, the cartoon of all the tough guys in a mosh pit, that's Victory Style. So no, I can't think of what Only the Strong looks like or what it has on it. The third one, that is.
It has playing like bombers, right?
Yeah, it's one of the shameful picture discs in my collection.
Yeah.
So yeah, in that shitty thick plastic or whatever it is, rubbery plastic sleeve. Yep, bummer. Just put out an LP, dude. But yeah, there's some stuff on there I'm going to pull out, including possibly one of Dan's favorite bands, Where Fear and Weapons Meet, with a song called Are You Happy? So we will see. Ben, 1999, what do you think?
It's Fast Times versus Fast Break. It's No Reply versus No Motive versus No Use for a Name. It's sports where versus Where Fear and Weapons Meet. It's the year everyone thought that split 7 inches were a good idea. It's also the year bandana thrash was invented. The As the Sun Sets comp comes out, which has a lot of West Coast hardcore bands on it. 10 Yard Fight breaks up and invents Edge Day in the process. Youth Crew in general is winding down for a second time. That whole tragedy, Severed Head of State, From Ashes Rise, Muscular Crust, Portland by way of Memphis scene is going strong. Other bands who break up or put out final records: Trial, Atari, Speak 714, Sportswear, Eyelids, Stand Your Ground, Main Strike, Floor Punch, and His Hero Is Gone. Bands that form: In Control, Over My Dead Body, Fields of Fire, Champion. I sense a theme here. The Oath, Faded Gray, and Tragedy. Labels. The only label I could find that was founded this year, although I'm sure there were plenty, was Livewire Records. And then most importantly, this is the year hardcore was reborn, because the Rebirth of Hardcore 1999 comp on Super Soul Recordings told us so. And then we only have 4 songs from this year that made it to our top 100 punk and hardcore records of the 90s list, which you can access on 185milesouth.com. And that's the lowest number for any year in the 90s. Every other year we got more than 4 records on that list. So that's what I got. I mean, I actually pulled out the records that made the list, if you want me to read those.
Go ahead, but I got to say, we got to redo that list at some point. It's kind of shit. Go ahead.
Okay, yeah. At number 41, the Count Me Out Few and Far Between 7-inch. At number 51, the Main Strike No Passing Phase LP. At number 60, the True Blue The Ice 7-inch. And at number 93, the Cold as Life Born to Land Hard LP.
I thought that was 98.
I think it is.
Yeah, I think so too. Yeah, 99. Ben, also Stand Your Ground didn't put out a record in 99, although we did break up. And yeah, so that year, that band of that I was in broke up, and then I started In Control. So like pretty transitional year for me personally. Also in Oxnard, like that was a real down year. 97, 98 were like popping. And then in 99, maybe because like Standing Ground and Voice of Defiance both broke up, like there was really not that many kids going to hardcore shows that summer. There was like, we did that Buried Alive All Out War show. Granted, it was on a weekday and it was in the summer, and we used to flyer the high schools. That's how we got kids out, but there's probably like 30 kids at that show. The biggest show of the summer was 97A. That was probably like, I don't know, 70 kids, something like that. Yeah. And then, but that's coming off like Laser Star always having like 150, 200 more kids. You know what I mean? Like the 10-year fight, the Floor Punch show is January of 99. There's like fucking 300 kids there. You know what I mean? So like, that's like a scene going off a cliff, and In Control starts in October or November of 99. And our first show is the final show at Laser Star. And then in all of 2000, there's like no clubs in Ventura County. So like we have to play out of town for our entire like first full year of existence. It's pretty wild. But so yeah, very transitional year for me personally, as well as like the scene that I come from. Dan, let's get into it. Let everyone know the rules of the Super 7 and let them know the order that we were picking on.
Okay, so a Super 7 is our fun little competitive attempts at making the best playlist or mixtape out of what music was released that year. So this is the 1999 one. And so, for example, you can take one song by the same band, but you cannot repeat that same song. So we go in order. The order is Clevo, then Ben, then Zach, then me in the Nard Curse spot. And we go around till we have 7 songs each. And then later on in the week, we ask you, the wonderful listener, to vote on whose list you found to be the most palatable. Or you just get in the comments and talk shit to all of us.
Dude, it's a good year for that because, I don't know. It's pretty spread out. Okay. So we go to Clevo. Clevo, what is the best hardcore song of the year 1999?
I'm going to take a track that is shockingly, when I heard it at the time, I never would have thought that it's still relevant today. But I'm going to take Agnostic Front with Police State because Giuliani, fuck you.
Hell yeah.
Agnostic Front, God bless them. They keep trucking along. They tour, they put out records. This might be probably where I get off of the Agnostic Front, off of the Agnostic Front train. But I think this song is just fucking great. It's everything that Agnostic Front should be. It's pissed off. It's got a good breakdown. It's fast. It's got a lot of YOLO to it. So Agnostic Front, Police State.
I love this one. I think it's great. Yes, Agnostic Front, true to like, their original style, and like I like that they're going for like the local politics, right? It's pretty sick. This song kicks ass. I never get off the train. AF always got a few classic songs on every record. Another Voice having some fucking bangers. But yeah, Dan, what do you think about this song?
It's great. The only thing that would make this pick better for Clevo to take it is if he was choosing this pick from a news conference at the Four Seasons Construction Company.
Total landscaping.
Yeah, total landscaping company.
Well, you guys can't see because we're not on video, but my hair dye is running down the side of my head that looks like a turd. So
Yes, and also Clevo is recording between a crematorium and a dildo store.
That's right.
Yes. Much respect. Okay, Ben, you want to touch on this, or do you want to take your number one of the year 1999?
Yeah, I'm going to go with my number one. That is a good song, by the way. But when I was in the band Bad Reaction, our singer used to always anytime Rudy Giuliani came up in conversation, because he got, harassed by the cops relentlessly during Giuliani's reign of terror, he would do the Giuliani, fuck you. He was a New York guy before he moved to LA. Count Me Out, Few and Far Between is my number one pick. This is a weird thing where they put out like a 7-inch in 98, a 7-inch in 99, a CD that combined the 7 inches in 99 as well. So it's very unclear like what songs came out what year. And I actually asked the singer and he was unclear about it too. But I know this is 99. You got the bass intro straight into a scissor beat. And usually when a Youth Crew band plays that beat, it's because it's the only fast beat the drummer can do. But this is a stylistic choice because there are other songs that have, the regular like Chain of Strength fast beat. And it's a great stylistic choice. And then you have octaves over that scissor beat. So it's like kind of like feels like Atari, but like played by more competent musicians. So no wonder I love it. And then you got a breakdown with lyrics about being stabbed in the back with gang backups. If the formula ain't broken, don't fix that shit. Just perfectly executed Youth Crew music. Some of these guys are in an excellent band right now called The Barbed Wires, and they are most certainly not Youth Crew, but they're very good.
Number one, put some respect on Jason Mazzola's name, the singer. Come on, dude. Friend of the pod. What the fuck?
Friend of the pod, Jason Mazzola, was unclear.
Thank you. Well, you said the singer, right?
Yeah. But, does everyone know Jason Mazzola's name? I don't know.
Yes.
Okay. They all do.
Yep. Agreed. Yeah, great pick. This is killer. I like it. Like pretty melodic breakdown without like falling off the stick and going like overboard on the octaves. And, Jason's voice is one of the best in the history of hardcore, right? It's like you would have to write a pretty shitty song, for him to sing over and to have it suck. In this genre. So, yeah, one of the best. What do you think, Dan?
I mean, my love for Count Me Out. Although I will say, like, vocally, next year, he really just comes into his own, like on the first LP,
For sure.
I mean, this is great. Ben, if you'd looked at the cool little 99 cheat sheet we have, 2 of the songs are Few and Far Between are eligible, and then the other 4 aren't, because Zach was very clear about that. So you got one of the ones that's eligible. And God, what a world we live in where we can enjoy Count Me Out over multiple years.
Hell yeah. I'm glad there was no controversy, outside of Ben sliding Jason a little bit. Okay, I'm going to take my number one. I'm going to take Dan. You got jacked, foo. I'm taking Death Threat Disgrace off of the song 1999. And I believe one of us took this in the year 2000 for sure. If someone else didn't, but this one came out first. It's on. It's like it should be on limits because it is a different version for sure.
Yeah.
Like they take out one part, they drag out a little bit. I think it's like right before it goes back into "To You This Is Just Another Trend." Like it keeps that breakdown part going a little longer after the singing stops. Where like on the LP version, it goes right from that singing part to the next part when the fast part comes back in. What can you say? This is one of the all-time greatest hardcore songs. Very insular, talking about like the scene, and it's sick, dude. You know what I mean? And probably more relevant today than ever. You know what I mean? Like there's so many just golden lines in this. And I could give two fucks about you. Stop living vicariously through. Fucking so good, dude. And just like some real simple but like poignant rhymes, right? Like you dropped out, or after a year, I know you'll fake you're fucking insincere. Like hell yes, dude. You know what I mean? Straight up the best of hardcore. This is it. It's one of the greatest songs ever. What do you think, Dan?
Yeah, you jacked me. You got me. I was fearful that you were going to go for this. And if you didn't get it this time, you were probably going to take it for number 2. So I was going to reevaluate my, what I'm taking in what rounds. And I was really hoping for this one, but I knew it wasn't going to last. And then just like his delivery throughout this it just shows the supreme confidence, because to lots of ears, the first time they hear this, they'll be like, oh, I don't really like the way the singer's singing, like doing that with the cadence. And then by the third time of listening to this, you're like, this is genius. I fucking love this. You know, I love it so much.
This recording is great, but like the LP is like even better. It's wild, you know, because like this is one of those things where like they could have really been taking a risk re-recording the song, because it's already like so good, this version, you know, but the LP version just dials it up to 11. So hell yeah. Daniel Sant, what is the greatest hardcore song of 1999 behind Death Threat Disgrace?
Oh, so you're already putting Death Threat Disgrace over those other two?
Well, I mean, it's close, but come on.
Well, now I'm going to have to just think about this strategically for a second. Do I lose that? All right, I'm going to strategically, I'm going to take it now, because it may not be around for a couple more rounds. So I'm going to go Can We Start Again by Bane. I'm going to take this. The LP as a whole, I'm not that much of a fan of, because what came before it was just so good. Like the 7-inches, especially the high points on each 7-inch that came before this. So the LP was I mean, I tons of people around me like loved every single song on it, and there's tons of people listening right now that are going, "You're tripping! Like this LP is so good." But for me, it was just a couple high points compared to, you know, in the past, lots of high points. But Can We Start Again is an all-timer. Whether it be live, whether it be this recording, the sentiment from Aaron Bedard, not just the singer, his name's Aaron Bedard. The sentiment of what hardcore means, what punk means, and what it has meant to you over your life, and that moment, like when it grabs you and it changes your life trajectory, and then almost a rallying call of, can we go back to all tapping in and feeling those feelings? Lots of people may have some kind of like you know, fatigue from this song, because it's been like an all-timer for all these years, and you know, cynicism creeps in with lots of people when they talk about bands that have been around a long time and stuff like that. But if you just look at this one piece of music and one piece of art in its own thing, this is just an absolute brilliant all-timer. It's like so good. So I was a 15-year-old kid, you know, that just wanted to skate with my suicidal tape. I love it.
Yeah, I think that maybe just like coming off that, you know, the CD that compiled all 3 7-inches, like the expectations were just too high for that LP, right? So when it came out and like every single song wasn't a banger, like, you know, some people think it wasn't that great. But it is wild, right? That, you know, people think that, I mean, it's not like a universally loved record. They get that later on Give Blood, but like this is like their hit song. You know what I mean? So like, yeah, everyone knows this song. Killer.
You know, I think the letdown for this LP, and you know, it's no secret that, you know, they tried to do something different, going from recording with Brian on all of their stuff previous to recording with the guy from Today Is the Day. And that really, this record just kind of suffers from production. It doesn't jump out at you like the other stuff does. And I think in hindsight, if they would have recorded this, you know, in a more traditional way, I think that we would talk about this record a lot differently now because there are definitely tracks on it. I don't know, this is the track from it, but like I don't know if we're going to talk about anything else on it today. That's why I kind of want to jump in here about it, but it really does suffer from that. And it's kind of funny because you see the takeoff where, Bane's live shows were kind of becoming more and more known at this point. And then this record was just kind of seen as such a letdown when people finally got to hear it, that the live show is what they've really lived on since then.
Yeah.
Clevo, put some respect on stunning Steve Austin's name. That's all I got. Clevo, second best song of 99.
So I'm going to take, for my second track, I'm going to take the leadoff track on the Leatherface Hot Water Music split, and it's a track called Andy. It's one of my favorite Leatherface songs. It's also written about Andy Crichton, who was in the band Snuff and also had played in Leatherface in the band Pope with Frankie Stubbs, who had taken his own life the year before. So it's a tribute to him. It's just like, we're thinking about what the subject is, and Leatherface kind of has that sort of dark northern thing to them, to their songs, but it's kind of an upbeat song when you really do think about what it is about. It's just like a celebration of them losing their friend, it's really a great song. The rest of the tracks, the rest of the Leatherface tracks on this are kind of hit or miss, but this song really is a standout, and I think might fly under the radar for some people who really like, we talk about Mush all the time and some of the other Leatherface records. But I think that this track probably should get more shine because it's kind of stuck on this record that I don't know if a lot of people really tuned into this.
I think that people like this record more than the one that came the next year. Like that Horsebox record is kind of an extreme fall off. Maybe I'll get crucified for saying that, but like I
like it. Aside from like the True Colors cover, which we've probably talked about on here before, but but I like Leatherface, so I celebrate the entire catalog.
Fair. Yeah, I didn't get into Leatherface into the 90s. I got into him like right around this time, I think. Whenever they toured with D4 is when like I discovered him. So like I don't know if that was 98, 99 or 2000. But like I got this record pretty early. I think I had Mush in this one like exclusively, and it was like, God damn, Horsebox gets bodied by Mush, But someone I knew had that the Leatherface Hot Water Music split, and like I always thought those Leatherface songs were really good. Although I never bought it, so I don't really know.
Now's a chance to go back and revisit it.
That's right. I'm stoked, and that's a good segue because there's a playlist for every episode. So everyone, 185milessouth.com. There's a playlist link at the top of the page. Handle business. Also, it's on Spotify, so you can search for 185 Miles South. I'm going to do that, and I'm going to recheck out this Andy song because I remember liking all their songs on this a lot. So I'm stoked you called this one out, Clevo. Dan or Ben, you got anything on this, or should I shoot it to Ben for his number 2?
Yeah, I actually own the CD of this, but I'm more familiar with the Mush album, which I don't own, so it's kind of ironic. Like, this should be the stuff I'm more familiar with, but this is inspiring me to pull out that split CD and fire it back up again. And thankfully, this stuff is now on Spotify because all the BYO stuff for a while wasn't. So it's cool.
Yeah, shout out Trust for rescuing all the BYO stuff from non-streaming obscurity. Ben, what is your number 2 song of 99?
I'm going to go with the song Heart Attacked by Kid Dynamite. This is from their split 10-inch with 88 Fingers Louie. Shout out World's Greatest Format, the 10-inch. It's on Subcity Records, which is a subsidiary of Hopeless Records. It's sort of like fast Gorilla Biscuits-ish verses and quick snare fill choruses. Won't let the world weigh me down because I'm coming alive. And then it goes into this pop punky anthemic breakdown section at the end. And they're really, to me, one of the best bands of that era that sort of straddle, the 2 millennia. they also straddle the line between hardcore and pop punk in a way where it's like, it's really hard to do that and not be corny. And like, to me, they're not corny. They're really good. So saw them a lot of times around 98, 99, 2000, and they were always good live too.
People are probably really familiar with this song because it's also the first song that was on that comp CD they did, the Cheap Shots Youth Anthems. So, yeah, this is a great pick. This is a killer song. Dan, you familiar with this?
Yeah, it's really good. The Black Flag cover on this 10-inch is really good too.
Shout out 10 Inches. All right, my number 2 should have been number 1 probably for everyone because it's a killer-ass song and it references the year. I'm taking Kill Your Idols, Hardcore Circa 99. It's on the split with Full Speed Ahead. Like Ben called out before, this was like a year of many split 7 inches. And I don't know, it was pretty sick, dude. Because like in the era of $3 7 inches, like you could take a chance and you could really like get to know some bands. And it wasn't always band's best material, right? Because it's like a split. You know, you're tossing out a couple songs. Sometimes it's just like one original, one cover or whatever. But like, god damn, this song is so fucking good. It's like fast hardcore with like a legit ass chorus. Think about the kids who sing along, singing all the words that help to make them strong. So much strength in a positive scene. Seems all you care about is making the green. So good, dude. And yeah, it makes me really like nostalgic for thinking about, you know, a fast hardcore song where there's like a legitimate pylon for the verse. You know, like there's still like big pylons for like big sing-along parts and stuff sometimes. But like we're talking a fast chorus in hardcore, like and dudes are piling on. That's so sick. And yeah, Hardcore Circa 99 was sick. You know, it's like the days of us going to the PCH and like, you know, a pretty tight unit of kids in Southern California, like, you know, that are into roots hardcore and so forth. And, you know, I mean, it kind of all fell apart that year, like most things in hardcore did, or transition to something else, right? But like, I don't know. That era of like, you know, all our bands and going to the PCH and like seemed like Kill Your Idols was out like more than they weren't, you know, like saw them a bunch of times in this era and like they were kind of a band that we all loved and went to their shows and fucking hey, dude, this song's great. What do you think, Dan?
Yeah, I mean, we must have seen them like 6 or 7 times in 1 year. I feel like you say, they were coming through so often, and yeah, they tapped into what we had at that time, which was from Oxnard down to San Diego, and you know, at the 3 or 4 other spots in between, you just see the same faces, and it was really tight knit, all the way till maybe like 01, like 99 to 01. Like it was very small but very things, and yeah, that this song is referencing, not that it was singing about like us, but it was singing about, you know, where you find your place in this time. And Kill Your Idols always gave it all. Maybe played a little too long at each show, but you know, I'll let them off for that.
Yeah, Dan, you said San Diego to Oxnard, but we got to give some love all the way up to Santa Barbara and loop in Ben, right? Because yeah, that circuit, right? Like the Pickle Patch, then Laser Star,
Yeah.
then Headline Records sometimes, PCH sometimes, and then down to San Diego for the Shea or the Empire Club, or even like the
Coos.
Showcase San Diego.
Coos
Yeah,
Cafe
and
as
Coos
well.
sometimes. Although, you know what, dude? I didn't go there except for once or twice.
And the
So,
Cobalt.
like, I don't know. Cobalt sucked. Cobalt was a straight shit club. They didn't pay the bands, dude. They're one of those clubs that made you like say who you're going to see at the door, and they'd give you like what, $1 per each person.
Oh yeah,
That was a bullshit ass club. And then Coos, I think you're remembering. Ben can correct me if I'm wrong, but like Coos was kind of like the Pickle Patch of OC. Like I think that they had more of like, you know, it wasn't all like the root stuff. Like I never played there. Did you play there, Dan?
yeah, with both bands. So yes, they definitely had screamy stuff. They had metal stuff. They had Jimmy Eat World. Like they just had everything. Like it was kind of like what the Che would be with like it's a DIY space that will let lots of different bands play.
Ben, do you remember that being a crucial part of that circuit?
No, PCH is the one.
Yeah, but I'm not saying one. I'm saying Pickle Patch, Laser Star, Headline Records, PCH, and like the Shea and the Empire Club in San Diego. You think that Coos is like in there?
Yeah, I think the second or the first out of town show that Fields of Fire ever played was in January 2000 at Coos, but I don't think it had as many kind of youth crew-y shows as it had emo shows. Like I'm thinking of other bands I saw there, and they were like Ink and Dagger or those kind of band, or like Kill Holiday. Like they weren't really, fast hardcore. But we did play there, so yeah, probably not as crucial as the other clubs you mentioned. Great pick though. That Kill Your Idols Hardcore Circa 1999 is on my honorables.
All right. Cleveland, you want to speak on this, or should I shoot it at Dan for his number 2?
Just that, is there a band that liked the split 7-inch more than Kill Your Idols?
No, but I think that, in the straight hardcore lane, no. In like the power violence or, like those lanes, maybe. But like, we got to shout it out to Kill Your Idols. It's probably because like they really cared about putting people on. In the year 2000, they're the first band that ever took In Control out of town, and we didn't know them, and we just had a demo out. So like, they were like real ass dudes that were like putting on for like bands that like weren't shit at the time. You know what I mean? And I'm not saying that obviously the bands that they did splits with all had a name and shit, but like they helped us out big time in the year 2000, and like we were nothing. You know what I mean? So,
but it's kind of crazy. They did a split with Poison Idea. Like,
yes. How sick is that?
It's just like they have a lot of split 7-inches.
Yeah, because they had a lot of songs, right? Like they're just one of those bands that just cranked out songs. Like they weren't a band that's going to put out like that first 12-inch is pretty short, but after that, like they're not putting out like a 10-song LP. You know what I mean? Like they're cranking songs, and like all these 7-inch songs aren't getting re-recorded on their LPs either. Like they're a band with like a big ass catalog, but very consistent and always kicked ass live and always like sincere, fucking radical dudes, and RIP to Vinny Value, like another dude that was like so nice, like the first time you met him, right? And like he'd remember you if you only like, met him once, like he remembered you the next time he saw you, even though you lived 3,000 miles away. You know what I mean? It's like, that's some of that straight up secret handshake shit we speak of, and yeah, he was the man. So RIP, I miss him, even though I didn't know him that well, but played with him a handful of times, and just he's one of those people that I really enjoyed in this thing. And it's sad when people aren't around anymore, when they're kind of like people we think about, like, we don't tour anymore in bands and shit, and like you think about like, oh, I miss this guy from that area, and I miss this guy from that area, and I miss this guy from that area, and it's sad thinking like, he's not around, because he was someone that I really liked. Dan, number 2.
Okay. Well, I'm going to have to do a little blockage on you then. I'm going with Fade by Built to Last off of the Only the Strong 1999 record. I easily could have chose Man Down off the And Knowing Is Half the Battle CD as well, which is just such an amazing Built to Last track. But Fade off this comp is so good, and Bert's voice never sounded better than on this song, I feel. The music on this is that perfect in-between of Youth Crew Revival 97-esque stuff and straight up NYHC, and it is like right in between. Aaron's drumming on this is like so New York hardcore, but the guitars and the nodding to the octaves, etc., are very post like In My Eyes demo. It's really great. Built to Last are an unsung hero band from San Diego that were truly a brilliant band and really carried the torch for straight up hardcore in San Diego, and I really hope like Resurrection AD, the label that they were on, will find the time to put the Built to Last stuff up on streaming, because this is a band that should not be forgotten, because they were a huge tentpole in traditional hardcore in a time where metallic hardcore ruled all, and they were waving the flag for OG hardcore, and we all loved them.
100%. Like Built to Last, Hoods, Powerhouse, like these were like my favorite bands. In 98, 99 from California. You know what I mean? And like we would drive down and see them. Like there's a Retaliate lyric on the first record, right? 6 hours round trip to see one band. That's Built to Last. Like that's us driving 3 hours down and driving back 3 hours to see one fucking band. You know what I mean? And yeah, absolutely love it. Dan, I think he sounds the best on Turn Away from the Our Own Way compilation that came out on Blackout the year before. But he sounds great here too. Like, I mean, this is neck and neck. That one just because like that's my favorite song from them and my favorite version of my favorite song. And yeah, it's a goddamn shame, because the CD EP is probably my favorite thing that they did other than that Turn Away song, and it's not on streaming. And it's notable because like they were a band that was like writing for like that New York hardcore influenced straightforward non-metal hardcore in a time when like playing that shit wasn't cool. You know what I mean? In this area. So yeah, they deserve a ton of respect. I love this pick. And ironically, you stole this song Fade, so now you got to catch a fade, dude. What's up? I love it. Okay, Clevo, let's go to you for your number 3.
I'm already in that like what's on Spotify, what's not on Spotify position.
This is a rough year, and Dan, we should say that's sick that you chose Fade instead of the song from the full length, because this one is on Spotify.
Yeah.
For my third pick, I'm going to take Reach the Sky. She Really Loved You from the So Far From Home LP. This song, Reach the Sky, really, Ian, coming out of Ian's previous bands and then like kind of what he did post Reach the Sky, this is really like, melodic, tuneful. Ian like really, really sings and really heartfelt, introspective lyrics. I really like this song. It's one of the, speaking of 1999, one of the like memories I have actually of the Edge Day show was them playing this song. So it's really it's probably not like it probably doesn't really stand out. It wasn't one of the songs that Victory put on the 7-inch right before they put out this album. But I think that this is probably the standout on the LP for me.
Yeah, I thought that this record was like the best thing they did. Although, I wasn't from Boston and I didn't have an emotional attachment to this band, but like this record, I think the drumming was a lot better than like the previous stuff. And it really worked on this record. Also, they kicked ass live and covered Killing Time, so that's pretty sick. And then tying it back to In Control, because I love to talk about myself. Chris Chassis played in our band like in the final year. So it's nice. It's nice like to reminisce about like this year. There's so much that reminds me of good shit. So yeah, I love this pick. Dan, what do you think about this?
I love this pick. I loved seeing them live. I really like how Ian would do the little bop on the head to all the people up front. Like that's something I always looked forward to every time I was seeing him. It was just like the signature move. And at this point in time, like this kind of melodic nod to melodic hardcore, while still being very hardcore, but still being heartfelt and melodic, was really great and had set itself apart a little bit. And then, lots and lots of other bands did this kind of thing, which maybe watered down the memory of Reach the Sky, but that's not fair to them because, yeah, this the Reach the Sky So Far From Home LP is a really great release top to bottom.
Yeah, and if you're a younger kid that like is way into like Koyo or No Pressure and stuff like that, like this is a good band to like kind of check the, a band that was playing not the same stuff, but like similar, relatively fast, relatively melodic, hardcore, 25 years ago.
Absolutely, that's a great shout.
Yeah, and the other thing that I loved about this band too is like, I never got to see Ian be gnarly, but like he's in one of the most melodic bands in hardcore at the time, and like, his reputation was also like that he was one of the gnarliest dudes. So that's sick. Plus, friend of the pod, Pops, backup vocals on this, so pretty sick.
I have to mention too, R.I.P. Brendan. He was like the best guy.
Yeah.
And also, apparently it took me moving out of Boston for Larrabee to move back. So I think Boston won that trade because I fucking miss that guy all the time. So, yep, Larrabee's back in Massachusetts like it should be. So, yeah, I miss that guy.
Yeah, I got this album when it came out, and just listening to it now, it made me realize it's pretty similar to Saves the Day if you had like a grown ass man singing the songs. But like, imagine taking Ian out and putting Chris, the singer of Saves the Day. Sorry, you're gonna get. I'm having a. This will be my new gimmick where I just say the singer. But like, it's very similar structurally and musically, just totally different vocal style. Okay, my number 3 is True Blue, the band True Blue. That is the song "The Ice."
Okay,
Yeah, there's plenty to choose from. That's great on this record. So what happens when a European band plays an American style of hardcore better than any American bands are doing it? It's only happened a few times. It happened in the 2000s with Dead Stop from Belgium. They're playing that raging early 80s style. And it also happened in 1999 because True Blue from Germany are kind of doing the Leeway, Cro-Mag's Late Judge style of New York hardcore. So you got your bouncy intro, and then you have that driving, I guess maybe Zach would call them slow fast verses, like the slowest you can play fast, verses and choruses, and then that you go into that sick breakdown that then goes halftime and then returns to that skipping beat. And it's just a classic song. And the chorus, ice, you just turn to ice. Love it. Never gets old. And they also have like really cool iconography. The cover of the record, I don't understand it at all, but it still rules. It's a sort of an image of James Dean with vampire fangs over a field of red with no band name on the cover itself. And then the insert is like rosary beads spread out behind the lyrics with some hip hop looking foos that I guess are they're the band members. Of course they are. This has gotta be one of the top 3 greatest hardcore records not currently on Spotify, in my opinion.
I love that you ride for this band. This is like, I know that you do, but like this is kind of a surprise to me how hard you ride for this. It's great. I thought that True Blue is on the album cover, isn't it? There's no like album title, but I think it says a band name on the front next to the dude's face.
You know what? I have the CD. Maybe it's different. Maybe the CD is different.
Oh, and the CD is different. Yeah, I don't
It
know.
is.
on the 7-inch, it does say True Blue underneath the vampire head in the same font that another great band from this year used, Palpatine.
Yeah, and this is a time to bring up the Crucial Response needs to stop fucking around and get all their shit on streaming, right?
Absolutely.
But yeah, this recording is great. Patrick has great swag in his fucking vocal delivery. And yeah, it's a great pick. I love this record. If I was going to be discerning Dan, I would just say, I wish the song kicked off the bat. Like I don't need the 30 seconds of bullshit before it kicks in. But yeah, this is so killer. What do you think, Dan?
Yeah. So now that this has been taken, it might free up some space on my list, but I was going to take Delta, the next song on this, which I think is so much better. vocally, he annihilates on the second song. This one is a bit verbose. I mean, all the songs on this are amazing. I really love this 7-inch when it came out. I come back to it every couple of years and just really love it again. And you know, with 1999, this is a big one. And yeah, all the entire like layout with the really beautiful paper choices and everything. I loved everything about this 7-inch when it came out.
I would take the third song, Place Bets. I think that's the one that like would slide right into 2023, 2024 hardcore, and like it's like it doesn't sound dated at all, dude. It sounds very like of the time.
I think Delta could easily be this year also.
I think the whole record could, but like that one, like the Place Bets, just like kicking into the mosh off the bat, you know, and then into like a 2-step part. Like, yeah, I don't know. This thing rules. It should be on streaming. Dude, Patrick knows how to do this. Come on, Patrick, put it on streaming, dude. You know, yeah. Let's Clevo, you want to speak on this, or should I take my? Is it to me again? Fucking A.
I just want to say, like, everything about this. It's sort of like everything about this, everything about Patrick Kitzel. Like, you know, like of course, like the guy that was in True Blue would be like the guy who writes a book about Nemesis Records. And I also love like how swagged out they are on the back. And the last time I saw Kitzel, he had like cowboy boots on. So respect for that dude. That dude will fucking push the edges of whatever fashion he's into.
Yeah, dude. A dude that goes for it. I am going to take, you know, it's not my favorite version. My favorite version is on the Super Soul comp, but I'm going to take the song Destiny by Main Strike. This is one of my favorite hardcore songs of all time. And his vocal delivery is just out of this world. Like the way it kicks in. The beauty of life. It just kicks in as fast. The dude is like yelling with like a great voice. And then like this song is made by the drumming. Like the fills are so fucking good. And like it's sick. Verse, chorus, and then like it goes back to the verse, but there's no singing, and it does like it just goes to a fast part with no singing, and then a long build up, and then right back into like the chorus again. So sick. I do want to shout out like the version on the Super Soul comp is amazing with like those female vocals in the background that are like just like tucked pretty low in the mix, but like gives like this really sick vibe. It's a shame like that stuff isn't on the LP, which is like what's on streaming. Also, like shout out to Main Strike, one of the rare Crucial Response bands that their stuff is on streaming. So that's sick. But yeah, we talked this LP on the pod before. It's one of my favorite records of the 90s. I think it holds up. It's so sick. Dan, what do you think?
Well, I'm mad because you've taken this. But I may still take a song from this because, yes, this was a very important record for me as well. I mean, look at that artwork.
Yeah, but
that's all I need to say.
Come on, as the notable edgeman on the pod, you got to take No Passing Phase, right?
I mean, it's on my short list. It's just the way Destiny, like the way the vocal comes in on Destiny and the emotion that's in that song, it was always the one. But yeah, No Passing Phase is also my, yes, we'll see. Maybe even Ben will sneak in.
You know what song Ben's going to take? He's going to take Hopeful Days. Youth Crew! That's the one.
Let's go!
That's right. And then it goes all like out of tune, like when they're doing the and it's all fucking out of tune. It's like, God damn, dude. Can we get a fucking retrack? Fucking A. It's like it's one of the sickest parts, dude. Youth Crew, and then it kicks in, and like on that breakdown, it's like, is the guy playing the wrong note, or is he just out of tune? Like something's fucking wrong, But
never noticed that.
Whatever, dude. It's hardcore. They probably like were running out of time in the studio, right? Like, fuck, we got to get done.
But it's Europe, so they were probably publicly funded, so they could spend as much time as they wanted in the recording studio. Yeah, Hopeful Days is my jam on this. I don't know if I'm going to pick it. I definitely have it as a possible. This is a good one, though. I love how hard you guys ride for Main Strike. Like, in what other context other than being on this podcast am I going to have like long and deep conversations about the band Mainstrike?
Okay,
It
well, here's
rules.
the thing, right? Like we love roots hardcore, right? And going into the 90s and like especially like stuff that is derived from like the 80s Rev catalog, right? So like fast straight edge hardcore. Like it's in our top 3 genres of music, right? And I know that you love the Sportswear LP, Ben. I love the 7 inches. I don't love the LP. I think the LP is fine. But like in the 90s, what of like the Youth Crew revival bands do great LPs? Like I don't think any of them do. I think that the In My Eyes LP is great, the second one, but it comes out in the year 2000 and it's like the very tail end of this stuff. But like I'm a Floor Punch 7-inch guy. I'm a 10-yard fight, both 7 inches guy. Like I think it's like the best LP of like that genre in the 90s. Like, and I don't think it's close. What am I missing here?
I mean, I think everything else is either after the 90s or not very good, or they only made 7 inches. So yeah, I can't think of anything else off the top of my head.
Yeah, Dan, can you think of an LP that's better?
No, I mean, this is why this one has stayed with me, 20, 25 years.
Yeah, and this LP is like 10 times better than their first LP, which is still like pretty okay. But like this is like, talk about a level up, dude. This
Well,
is
there's
like
lots of things from this year that are CD only, on some of those LPs that could maybe rival it, but they don't because they don't get, I don't have a CD player anymore, so I've not
Well,
kept
what are you
up with
thinking
those
of?
guys.
What are you thinking of? Name one.
Well, I mean, it probably isn't empirically as good, but the Built to Last LP was very important for me.
Yes, so that is an LP for sure.
Yeah.
I don't like I enjoyed it, but like, dude, Main Strike No Passing Phase. Come on.
I know. Yeah.
There were like good LPs, like, the Instant LP was good, right? Is it Main Strike No Passing Phase? No.
I
Okay,
got
what one?
one.
What do you got?
Well, I know you don't like it, Zach, so it's not going to prove anything. But the Fast Break, Fast Cars, Fast Women is an LP I really like, and that's from that era.
Yeah, I mean, like that's cool. I get it if someone makes an argument for it. So, I mean, I think that would be a contender, right? I don't like it at all, but
Well,
like,
the second In My Eyes, but that's 2000. I mean,
right.
it's only a few months after this, and that one is just incredible.
100%. Like that In My Eyes, the second one is like neck and neck with this.
Yeah.
Straight up. So, yeah. Okay, Dan, let's go to you for your number 3. And goddamn, we did an hour already and we're still on number 3.
All right. Well, I will quickly pick what would have been my number 1 truly. But I played a little mixing around there to get the songs before they were taken. But I am going to take what really would be my number 1, Hometown Pride, In Control. This song is so fucking good. I love the fact that everyone gets a little vocal part right before the breakdown, or the pylon, actually. It's only like 47 seconds long, and it is just incredible hardcore. And when this demo came out, like, Don and I drove around in his car listening to this, like, every single day for months. That's the only thing that was in the tape player. Yeah. An immense demo, not gassing Zach up. Like, this is actually amazing hardcore. And because they got put out, like, all of this got compiled in the is it Breaking the Curse is the name of the CD?
It's all a fucking mess, dude, right? Because like it's another symptom of the times, right? So like the 7-inch and the demo were like out of print, so we re-recorded everything for 6 weeks. So it's like a different recording. It's like I kind of wish we never did that, but then it gets re-released on 6131 and whenever we did the first reunion, 09, I think. So that version is on streaming.
on Breaking the Curse.
It's not Breaking the Curse. It's called like the Nard Curse LP. So it's like it's the actual demo recording and the actual 7-inch recording. The Breaking the Curse is like a straight re-recording. Two things. Number one, this is the greatest song I ever wrote. Second of all, in that Breaking the Curse CD that you're talking about, Dan, a fun fact on one of the songs, so like whatever it was, 14 fucking songs, 12, 14. Dude, the snare track got deleted on one of the songs. And so like Tony had to go in and literally just play the snare on one song. It was so fucked up.
That's like being the second drummer in a fourth wave ska punk band.
That's right. It just sounded very phlegmy and fucked up. But hell yeah, I appreciate the take. Ben, you want to speak on this, or should I shoot a Clevo for his number 4?
I had this song as an honorable. It's the one. It's the In Control standout track for me as well. This I love this is sort of like a Youth Crew tradition. I know In Control's not technically a Youth Crew band, but taking the F word and then using it to help have the correct number of syllables that you want in a given phrase. So hometown, fucking pride. I love that shit. Like, sincerely, that's awesome.
Hell yeah. Clevo, can we get some ass flap shit on here or what?
Funny you should say that. I am going to take from the Death No Space Threat, Talk is Poison split. I'm going to take Talk is Poison Isolation. Talk is Poison, really in a very short period of time, put out two records of their own and a split with Death Threat in the span of 1998 and 1999, put out about 15 songs or fewer, and they're all pretty fucking great. This song, Isolation, and I think the tracks that are on the Death Threat split, I actually like them better than the other Talk is Poison record that comes out this same year. This song specifically starts off with just like a ripper of a riff, kicks in, and the vocals are just like totally unhinged, and then like the chorus just really it's just like so catchy and memorable because it's like, we live in isolation, and then he just like sings over it, but like the repetition of isolation is just like catchy, and it kicks in. And really, like I said, they have like 15 songs. They did reform and record another 7-inch in the 2000s, which I actually have never heard. I need to rectify that, but really, like I said, like they have 15 songs. They're all ragers. They totally fit on a split with Death Threat. Very similar. These guys from the Bay Area, and actually, one of the guys is currently in Planet on a Chain, so still fucking raging.
Yeah, still kicking ass. This rules. Adam Lentz, he loved this band and would play them, and this is sick. I don't know if I heard this split. I think they did 2 other 7-inches around this time.
Yeah, there's a 7-inch from 98. Sorry, and there's a 7-inch from 99, and then the split is also from 99. Ken Prank compiled everything on an LP, and I think he re-released it semi-recently. It should be available, and that has everything they did in that early 2000s. The last record they did came out in 2010, and I don't think that is on any of the compilation records.
Yeah, I looked it up. It came out in 2007. It's called Condensed Humanity, the Prank EPs, and apparently I have it. So what a poser. I have a record that I haven't listened to. What the fuck?
Prank also did there was a CD compilation that has fewer songs on it. I think it's just the first 7-inch and the split tracks. And that was, I remember having that like back in the day. So when Ken did the expanded version, I was super psyched.
Yeah, that's called Straight to Hell. It's the Talk is Poison Straight to Hell 7-inch. It's the split songs with Death Threat, and then it's the their track on the Destroy New Granada LP from 2001. Hell yeah. Dan or Ben, you want to speak on this at all, or should we go to Ben for his number 4?
Yeah. I listened to this on mute because I'm a poser too. I mean, I remember this band, but not really getting into them or buying their records. And I gotta say, a lot of the things that separate subgenres from each other are really, really minor stylistically. Like if you had this song with a cleaner production and gang backups on the isolation, it would be pretty much like a Youth Crew record. I know that would like piss off any Youth Crew kid and any Talk Is Poison fan, but it's like, you know what I mean? Like stylistically, it's not that far off. Do you
Like,
agree with that,
honestly,
Clevo? Or not off?
No, and I think we talked about this a little bit on one of the episodes we did with Matt Smith. And like it really was just sort of, I guess, the crowds they ran in, and then because like I said, like bands like Death Threat, bands like Talk Is Poison, Crudos, in Boston at least, because the scene was kind of split up. Those guys were playing like the Co-op or playing in like church basements instead of playing at the Rat when, we should have been playing shows together, and I don't know why we weren't.
Yeah, and for people listening that don't know, because we've talked about two different death threats on this episode, there's a 2-word death threat. It's from Connecticut. That's the one that I took. It was ex-members of Hatebreed, and all the early stuff sounds a lot like Hatebreed with a different singer. And then this is Death Threat out of Memphis, Tennessee, right? Is like the band that Talk Is Poison is doing a split with. So, hell yeah. Okay, Ben, let's go to you for your number 4.
All right. I'm going to pick the band. Don't panic. I'm not line stepping here. I'm going to pick the song Teach Me How to Die by Farside. This is from the Monroe Doctrine LP on Rev. This is the last thing they ever did. It is by far the most raging, driving punk rock song by a band that mostly leans alt rock. Kevin Murphy is the singer on this one. It's like 2 songwriters that both play guitar, and whoever wrote the song is the guy singing. And Kevin Murphy sings probably 25% of the song, so it's mostly Popeye doing the vocals. But Kevin seems to be, he feels like he's more punk rock than Popeye. So this is sort of like the soundtrack to having just been in a breakup and then driving recklessly 100 miles per hour. And it's like totally liberating. The chorus is where he just yells, "Shut down." And if you listen to it at about a minute 14 in, the song totally could have come to an end and it would still be classic. But then it goes into this bridge that just makes the song even better. And it's still a very short song. And then at the end, there's this guitar riff that references the Far Side song Square One, which was like from 2 records earlier. So it's sort of like a cool, like self-referential Easter egg thing happening in this song. I played this for my bandmate at the time, who completely listened to different bands than me, but Farside doesn't mean anything to him, and he's a total, Poison Idea, punk rock, UK 82 kind of a guy. And he was like, "Oh my God, this is incredible. Play it again, play it again, play it again." We listened to it like 3 times in a row in the van. And it's like, damn, this song really does like transcend, the fact that they're like a Rev college years band or whatever, that they really had like really raging hardcore punk rock up their sleeve that they could pull out when they wanted to.
Ben, you prejudge me, but I got the Lonesome Ballad of El Bobo the Cranky on my short list.
Yeah, exactly. This record's all over the place, but kind of in a good way. I don't know about that song. I mean, that's obviously a joke song.
Dan, do you like this at all?
I'm not as familiar.
Okay. Clevo, do you have anything on this, or should I take my number 4? Yeah, cool pick. I will check out this track on the playlist. So, Ben, you got pretty good taste sometimes. And it might be sick. Who knows? Fucking A. My number 4. Dude. Okay, I'm going to take Cold as Life, My Own Worst Enemy, off Only the Strong 99. One of the hardest songs ever. Like, the way that it just... There's that ring out, and like you just hear that fucking riff going dun 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 dun. You're like, oh, what the fuck is going on? And then his voice is just real mean sounding, in kind of a crazy, blown out way on this. Like it's a little more savage than it is on the first record on Born to Land Hard. This is Born to Land Hard came out before this, I believe, but this is like the first time I ever heard Cold as Life. Like this stuff was not that easy to get, in California in the late 90s. And yeah, I just remember this song being like, God damn, this is the hardest thing ever. And the sickest thing is like, this is straight up Blueprint, the hard style. Like when I talk about it, because like it's somewhere between like moshcore and roots hardcore, right? Like there's like straight up roots hardcore in this. Like there's a fast part. You know what I mean? Like it starts out with that hard ass riff, but then like it goes into a fast part because like they're a fucking hardcore band. You know what I mean? And then like the sickest thing about the song is like that it goes right from that fast part into like this dun 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 out of nowhere. Like there's no transition or anything. It's like one of the most ignorant sounding things you've ever heard. And then like the way he starts singing on the top of it, oh da da bow, da 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 bow. It's so sick, dude. I still have no fucking idea what he's saying. But like this song's great. It's super short too. I think it's only like 2 minutes. Some of their like most memorable best songs are pretty short too, right? Like Ski Mask and 45, Little from the World. I think they're both like sub 2 minute songs. And this one, yeah, it's 2:04. So super sick. And yeah, just I remember getting this record and being like, oh, a lot of this stuff I don't love it, although like it's all pretty, I don't know, this whole comp is like pretty good. Like every song is like pretty good on it, but like there are some songs that stand out like, oh shit, this being one of them. I don't know. Dan, are you familiar with this at all?
Yes. And this is, it's extremely hard. And this is the kind of thing where you just know this is a soundtrack for destruction. Like there's just going to be a few people that go insane to this and do a lot of damage. I feel like you say, this isn't their greatest stuff, but this song is from this year of their output. This is the best one.
Well, I would say this is a top 5 Cold as Life song for me. And my favorite song off this gets re-recorded. I don't know if I think it's re-recorded. It might be plucked off the session, but this comes out on their CD that comes out the next year, the Declaration of Independence.
Yeah.
But I never had that record until like maybe 10 something years ago, 10, 15 years ago, like when I downloaded off either a blog or Soulseek or one of those. Like I never had that CD. I had like, the Born to Land Hard at some point and like this on 12-inch. So yeah, I don't know. But I love this thing and I'm stoked to have it on my list. Dan, let's go to you for your number 4.
Okay, number 4. I'm going to keep it in California, and I am going Pushing Forward by Carry On off the Line Is Drawn 7-inch. This song is, this and the actual titular song, The Line Is Drawn, are the two best ones off this 7-inch. Although I really loved this 7-inch at the time. I really still do. But Pushing Forward is just what's great about Carry On. Like they become even more aggressive with this kind of style when they blend in their influence of Right Brigade on the next 7-inch. But this is like pretty aggressive in my eyes style hardcore at this time, and the way the backups are sequenced and put together on this, it's so perfect. Like the Youth Crew backups on this are brilliant, and it really forms why the song is so good. Guitar playing is great. The vocals are really good, but it's all about that like sing along part. It's just so good. And yeah, I love this.
Yeah, that part is sick. It's like the where we stand, where we do.
It's up to us to stay it through.
Dance through. Yeah, sick. That's a very like 90s youth crew ass part. Reminds me a lot of Follow Through, you know? Yeah, I love it. The Reason for Change song is my favorite, the next song on the record. But like this is a killer 7-inch and first song on the record, I think, right?
Yes, it is.
Yeah, so like that's sick. Sometimes when you love a 7-inch and or an LP, you know, and you can't choose which one, like that first song, like you get the feeling for the full record, right? Because you get that feeling of dropping the needle and knowing the whole thing is to come. This is killer.
And
Great
it's so it's funny that Ben referenced hometown fucking pride. If there was anyone that uses fuck, fucking, and fuck, like all of that just to keep sentence flow going more than anyone, it's Ryan George.
Hell yeah. Ben, you want to speak on this?
He's got a potty mouth. I like the end where you hear the but you know, the naked drums. Yeah, this is a really good one. I had a different song that I might pick later. It wasn't this one, so we'll see what happens.
Okay, Clevo, you want to speak on this, or you want to take your number 5?
You know, this is one of those records. I feel like I just haven't heard it that much. Is this on the there's the CD with like the Carry On stuff, and I think this might have been on that.
Yes.
With the 7-inches.
It's one of those 2 7-inches that's on there. I think it's those 2 7-inches plus like one comp song that it's over song maybe.
Yeah. But you know, I probably listen to the next 7-inch way more.
Right.
I'm gonna go with my what are we on, number 5? I'm gonna go with my 5th pick. I'm gonna take Bread and Circuits, Hampton's Floor Plan. Maybe bringing in some more butt flaps to the listenership. You know, Ebullition Records. This is another Sarah Kirsch band. Hot on the heels of Torches to Rome, but I feel like as good as Torches to Rome was, I think that this kind of just takes it a step further and is just like, I don't know. I think it's a better execution of that. This song in particular is about the FBI assassinating Fred Hampton. So, you know, strong political lyrics, just really melodic. You know, Rites of Spring and Bread and Circuits both were kind of sold to me as like almost like a crusty Rites of Spring. So I guess you could say Rites of Spring with like harsher lyrics. So it kind of has that same sort of, you know, kind of feel about the music, where it's not melodic while it's kind of melodic. Like it has melodic leads, but it's not like super melodic. It's, I guess, tuneful, which, you know, is the other word I always use to describe stuff on here. But yeah, I really, really like this record. You know, and that's the one thing with Kirsch is she really, you know, was very, you know, had a lot of output, but, you know, these bands would put out like 1 or 2 records, or like, you know, with Bread and Circuits, you know, there's this record, there's a split, and then that's it. And then it was like on to something else. So constantly putting music out while they were still here, you know, and really just we're lucky to have as much output from them as we do.
Is this on Spotify?
No.
Okay. Yeah, I put it into Spotify, Bread and Circuits, and it pulled up a Scrams playlist. So
yeah, it's so weird that it's like there's just like stuff like if you search for Talk is Poison, the stuff that comes up is funny too. But yeah, there's just like a lot of this stuff is just, you know, there's plenty of records, there's CDs of it, but it's just never been put onto the streaming.
Yeah, Ben can speak on this more because this is a band that I remember seeing on Pickle Patch flyers all the time on shows that I didn't go to. But Ben, you lived there, so did you go?
Oh yeah, I saw this band many times, and I believe this is the only Sarah Kirsch band I ever saw, which it feels like I've seen at least 3 or 4 of her bands, but it was really just this band over and over again. And the band before this, Torches to Rome, strangely, I guess it's because the album was released posthumously, also came out in 1999 when I was figuring out what to pick. I have both these records as honorables. And the interesting thing about the sort of musical trajectory of Kirsch is that most people, like, every subsequent band gets a little bit more sort of soft or melodic or less hardcore, and it was the reverse for her. Like, Skin Flutes was like kind of a pop punk band, and then you have Fuel, which is like very Fugazi-ish but more punk sounding, and then every band after that, Sawhorse, it's like a harder version of Swizz. Torches the Room's harder than that, and by the time you get to Bread and Circuits, it's like brutal. Like, there is melody still underneath it, but it's pretty brutal sounding. So it's kind of interesting in that respect. But great pick.
That's so sick. I can't wait to check it out.
The Torches to Rome, half of the record is the demo, and then the other half is just like other tracks. So there is, I guess, technically half of it's kind of like that Count Me Out record, where like half that record is takeable for this year.
Fair,
Right.
fair. Dan, are you familiar with this at all, or should I shoot it to Ben for his number 5?
I'm familiar, but let's keep it rolling.
All right, Ben, number 5.
Number 5, we talked about this earlier. I am a sportswear stan when it comes to the LP. Building, Dwelling, Thinking on Super Soul. The song I'm picking is Keep the Faith. This is like 4 to 5 dudes from Norway who are like, what if the Bold LP was actually recorded properly? How awesome would that be? So then they fly to New York City and then go to Don Fury's studio, and then they do exactly that. Like, total Bold style, Bold worship, but like very well recorded. And to me, it's like a Youth Crew masterpiece. There's so many rad songs, but the reason I picked this one is there's a part where it sounds like there's a little kid who yells, "Keep the faith," after like the first chorus going into the second verse. And I think Zach's talked about that's like a crucial moment of a song going into the second verse. And that kid yelling, or I don't know who it is, someone with a high voice yelling, "Keep the faith," is like icing on the cake, which is shaped like a pause top and decorated with X's and Nike swooshes. And RIP to the singer, Peter Amdam.
I'm glad this made it on the playlist. I love sportswear. I love the 2 7-inches the most. I listen to this record once a year and hope I love it. I never do, although I think it's good. I listen to it. It's not bad. It's just nothing grabs me. The thing about the 7-inches that grab me so much is I think it's some of the best recordings of like 90s Youth Crew hardcore. They're so big. Like, that guitar tone is amazing. The drumming is amazing. And so, like, it's funny that you're name checking like the recording on this, Ben, because I think it's like significantly thinner than the 7-inches. Although it's not bad by any means. It's like, I do think they lost something that made them great. And also the songs are pretty simple. All the sportswear stuff, like they really know how to like milk a chorus and drag out like, like a catchphrase, right? Which is great. It's what makes them great. I just think like they're better in 4-song stretches. I don't know if they should have been an LP band. Like, maybe they would have been a band that put out 4 great 7-inches. I just don't know if this LP is great, but it's a band I love, so I'm glad it's on here. Dan, you familiar with this at all?
Oh yeah. I loved this, but I did like the 7-inch better. But when this band first came out, I was like, Sportswear, what a corny name. Sportswear, what an amazing name. I hated it and loved it at the same time. I was just like, I'm so like in 2 spaces with this. And then, the Sportswear 7-inch and the Eyeball 7-inch, like, holy fucking shit. Like, Crucial Response, can you get your shit together?
Straight up.
Yeah. And the Sportswear LP and the Eyeball LP from this year both didn't disappoint, but they both didn't hit me as hard as the original 2 7-inches.
Hell yeah. Clevo, you want to touch this, or should I take my number? What are we at? 5?
That we went to Europe in the beginning of '98. We were there in January of '98 actually, and Espen was in Hands Tied, so got to spend a lot of time with the sportswear guys and got to see Sportswear and Eyeball and all of them, and it was really, really awesome to kind of see just what was happening over there. And, just how influenced they were by like the same thing we were, but they just really, I think they took it an extra step, than maybe we did. We didn't go to New York and record Don Fury. So, yeah, R.I.P. Peter. I miss talking to that guy online, and yeah, this episode just turned into like a bum out about people we miss.
Yeah, it is a bummer. Okay, I'm gonna take my number 5, and I am taking Turbo Negro, Prince of the Rodeo. I feel like I took this on something else. What would I have taken it on? Am I fucking up here? Maybe I took something off like
What did you just say you were taking? Sorry,
Turbo Negro, Prince of the Rodeo. Isn't it a 99 or no? Is it 98?
Clicking really fast.
Yeah, I can not take this. Whatever. If this was 99, it would be my take. Turbo Negro, Prince of the Rodeo. We should check the 98 list and see.
So this says that Apocalypse Dudes was 98. But I saw it listed somewhere else as 99. So is it you? Nope. It has, I think Apocalypse Dudes might have been released in the US in 99, but it was released in Norway in 98.
Yeah, I don't have it on my 98 list. So my 98 list was Death Threat, In Cold Blood, Madball, Kill Your Idols, Dillinger 4, Fury of 5, and 25 to Life. So I didn't take it. So I'm going to take it. Turbo Negro, Prince of the Rodeo, one of the greatest rock and roll songs of all time. Just the way it starts out, the ding, 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 like that riff is so catchy. And then coming in with like the nice major chords behind it, when the drums kick in, sounds so good. And then just into a blazing guitar solo. Like the guitar solos on the song are straight up out of this world. The songwriting on this is just top notch. The way it all like crescendos up to the I'm riding high, I'm riding low, Prince of the Rodeo. So catchy, so good. Yeah, one of my favorite punk songs of all time. And I mean, I'm happy with like the order of my shit, but like this is a record where I had a lot of choices. So I took it late. But yeah, Turbo Negro, Prince of the Rodeo. Does anyone love this band? I'm kind of on an island here, right?
Where's your battle vest or denim jacket? No, I think they're great. I think they're really great, especially for the time period they like were putting these records out. It is so different to be calling back to this, to basically doing like glam punk Queen-esque like melodies beyond belief, and while looking so like creative and gnarly and hilarious all at the same time. I mean, it is something unto itself, and it is these melodies are just undeniable.
Yeah, I mean, there's a reason why they started like a legit, like there's a legit fan club out there, right? Like the Turbo Nugent.
Yeah.
Like they're a straight cult band. Clevo, what are you gonna say?
It's like a glam Poison Idea or a glam Motorhead. It really was just like something of the time, like that. It's just like it kind of hit us, and it was like, whoa, this is like something just like totally out of left field and just like unexpected.
Well, they're an interesting band, right? Because I really only love Ass Cobra and this Apocalypse Dudes. And so like they have at least a record or two before Ass Cobra. Ass Cobra comes out in 96. And this is 99 or whatever, 98 into 99. So it's like they have this nice little pocket of these two records I absolutely love. And then I know that some people love Scandinavian Leather. I never like went that far. I didn't love that. And then I think the singer doesn't die. He leaves at some point. Maybe I can't remember if he's on Party Animals or not. Who knows? I saw him. The only time I ever saw him was in like the early 2010s. I saw him at Punk Rock Bowling. They were like still great. And it was really fun because like, yeah, their whole like club is there, and like they're just some fun ass people that love to party. And at the time, I was a dude that loved to party, and that was pretty fucking sick. They're just a great band to fucking party and have a good time to. So yeah, but the sober life's better, people. So handle business. Let's go to Clevo, round 6, huh?
No, mate.
Oh, Dan, sorry, round 5.
Yep. You tell me my ideals have all become cliche, that I'm part of a movement with nothing left to say, but I still, you gotta go. I'm still fucking pissed.
Come on, finish. I place my faith in the hard, the fast, aloud. I know who I am. I'm fucking pissed and proud. Come on.
Okay. All right. Well, I was waiting for you to jump in there, like, and sing along, but you.
But your gimmick is jumping down on me, Dan.
Off the top rope.
That's right.
Yeah. No Reply mattered so much to that little railroad from Santa Barbara down to San Diego that we were just talking about earlier. This was a band that was the glue to a lot of these shows, that we just knew we could show up and have the best time singing along to No Reply. And, you know, I could easily have gone I Want Your Guts from this 7-inch, which has an amazing sentiment also. That's just about fucking rip yourself apart, show us what you're about. Like, hardcore is not just blah, blah, blah. It's being about shit. It's singing about things. It's sharing personal moments. And I'm Still Fucking Pissed is the other end of the spectrum, where it is like, I am raging on these songs because the world out there is making me rage. And that's why we come to punk and hardcore, because we've got something to say and we're going to fucking scream it in your face. And this is the lead song off one of the best 7-inches that doesn't get anywhere near as much props as it should. And this also needs to be on Spotify, because we're going to name and shame Igby. Get this up on Spotify. This needs to happen. This is a great record from this time period and was a great band. Westbrook, amazing. Kevin on drums, ripping. Felix was just such a showman, such a fucking performer, like, amazing. And then the most acerbic tongue in hardcore when his eyes trained on you and you knew you were going to get it in between songs. When Weinberg like got you in those crosshairs, you were in trouble. And it was always hilarious. It was like the fucking Def Comedy Jam, like doing crowd work on you in between these like 1 minute 20 blaster hardcore songs. It was a fucking time and a place that I'll never forget and I'll love forever. And this song is really representative, and Over My Dead Body covered it.
Yeah, I mean, like, really, of that scene, they were kind of the glue band. You know, everyone loved them. And also, like, I mean, I think part of the reason is you didn't have to listen to the record. Like, the choruses were so simple, you could see them once or twice and know all the songs.
Yeah, good point.
Like, I don't know. It was great. The demo and this are both awesome. And the split with Life's All, you know, like, this is a great call. Almost surprised this didn't go as your number 1, Dan.
Well, I started shuffling things around just to make sure I got things, but I thought this had slid past people's purview, and I was like, okay, I can take this a little bit later, but I was not going to let it go.
Yeah, I'm staying true to the listeners and only picking Spotify stuff. So it is what it is, because you know what? That Life's Halt song, To the Heart, from this year, off that As a Sun Sets comp, is probably my favorite Life's Halt song. So, but I'm not going to take it. Spoiler alert.
You know, Dave, you know, is like so smart and so quick. But I feel like the only time I saw No Reply was that reunion at the Smell. And I feel like some people were trying to get heckled that night. Dan, like, I feel like I guess it was like your last chance to get heckled by Dave. So you had to take it when you could get it. But you know, really bum out that like I feel like I only know like post No Reply Dave, so I feel like I missed out on something.
Sick. Ben, you want to speak on this at all, or should I shoot it to Clevo for his number 6?
I'm just proud of Dan for having such a Cali-centric playlist so far.
Hell yeah, dude. That's Dan, our Cali boy. Clevo, number 6.
So I'm going to go back and I'm going to take from the Death Threat LP, The Severing of the Last Barred Window. I'm taking the opening track, Like Fools. I love the way it kicks in. It's got a short little intro, a little mid-tempo thing before it just really, there's a drum roll and it kicks in, and then it's just like, Death Threat. It's fast hardcore. Like we said before, Death Threat is, I don't know if it's happening after or at the same time, but it's before tragedy, or sort of at the same time also as tragedy is coming, but it's kind of that bridge between His Hero's Gone and Tragedy, sharing members. So again, that Memphis to Pacific Northwest, hardcore, really hardcore punk, putting the punk in it, and just really, it's all ragers, and really, this is kind of a dartboard record for me. I really like this, and something that I probably missed it by about a year or so. So never got to see them, and just really, great band, and just really, the guys in this band, His Hero's Gone, Death Threat, Tragedy. Like, these guys don't miss.
No, this is great. This whole record rips. Yeah, you're right. Like, we talked this on the post 90s youth crew episode a lot. Like, this is the stuff that's like leading into the Tragedy. And Tragedy LP comes out in the year 2000, and like everyone's jaw drops, right? But like the real ones knew, Death Threat, His Hero Is Gone, and other stuff like Skit System. How Don't Get At Me Staffin', out of Sweden. Like, they're another band that's like kind of playing this style, like the heavy drop tune D beat, but getting like really nice big recordings. Yeah, this rules. This is a great pick.
I love this. So good, but the better Death Threat was taken earlier.
Yep. Okay, Ben, number 6.
All right. My pick is going to be the song Pulled Under by Kill the Messenger from All the Angels Crash and Burn 10-inch on Indecision Records. Shout out World's Greatest Format. Shout out World's Greatest Label. The singer and drummer of Outspoken go into full blast worship mode. Only they condense the vibe of their heroes into songs that are under 2 minutes long. So this is the one that goes, "This world is ours. You just have to tear it down." And it's interesting to hear how differently bands like Kill the Messenger, The Third Degree, and Annihilation Time sound from each other, given that they're all bowing at the altar of Blast, who of course in turn is bowing at the altar of Black Flag and kind of mutating the sound. So Kill the Messenger, out of all those bands, might be the least guitar solo-y and the least drum exercise-y band. It's just like as straightforward as you can play this kind of like powerful mid-tempo hardcore. And with one of the best hardcore singers of the 90s belting it out, John Coyle. So I don't think they ever, became a household name in the hardcore scene, but I just love this record.
Dude, you can't fuck with John Coyle. Dan, do you like this?
At the time, I didn't really care for this, and I went back. I did a Indecision deep dive and went back and like listened to some of the things that I had not given that much time, and I found myself liking it a lot more. But as you know, blast style is not my very favorite style, but John Coyle's voice is amazing. So it's really good. It is aggressive, and Ben summed it up pretty well with the nod to the tempo being loud and aggressive, but still like in the pocket type music. It was really good. It was good to revisit it. I think I maybe listened to this like 4 or 5 years ago and was like, oh shit, that's so much better than I thought it was. And good pick.
I'm going to take another song that I think is like top of the heap when it comes to like the hard style, and that's Hoods doing a song called Above This World. It's also on the Only the Strong 99 comp, but the superior version of it is on the Hoods Dysphoria Above This World CD split, 3-way split. Because on like the breakdown part, I think that it's just mixed a little higher. It might be the same recording as only the strong one, but like the guitar going dun, 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 dun. It's like lower in the mix on only the strong. It's pretty high on the on that split CD version, and that's really sick. Again, much like The Cold Is Life, it's a hard ass band with hard ass parts, but they still like have that roots hardcore in it, where it's like it's keeping it fast, right? And Ben, who was singing for Hoods at the time, he has like one of the perfect voices. It's like that later Roger voice, or like a, I don't know, like, you know, Rick the Life, I think, has a great voice. He just goes like too far off the stick a lot of times, you know, but he naturally has a pretty great voice when he shouts. And Ben has a very similar voice to that, like a late Roger or like a Rick the Life when he like hones it in. And so, yeah, I just think this is perfect. And Out of This World mosh part, like this is so good. The Hoods Alone CD EP is one of my favorite things from the 90s. And it is on streaming. People should get into it. It holds up a lot. And then these songs off this 3-way split, that's like my favorite shit. And that first LP, Time the Destroyer, but still probably Alone and this. So everyone check out the song on the playlist. It is sick. And Dan, you want to speak on this at all, or should you take your number 6?
Well, I just want to know, have you moshed to this immense mosh part?
I have. You know,
Okay,
this
good.
was like back when I moshed a little bit. Definitely deep into mosh retirement at age 44. What are you going to do? Respect to the old fools, still moshing, holding it down. Okay, Dan, number 6.
Okay, we're getting really down to it here. I'm going to have to choose between two absolute edge anthems here. And I'm one of them has Cincinnati on bass over here, The Only Way by TYF.
Dude.
I think I'm going to have to choose No Passing Phase just because I listened to it 10,000 times in 1999. And I'm going to just have to stay true to that. But The Only Way is so good too. Oh, fuck it. I'm going No Passing Phase, Main Strike. This song is envisioned by the album cover, which is just an absolute testament to straight edge hardcore and what being straight edge is. It's for lifers, it's no passing phase, and it is something positive that has impacted many people's lives. It can be obviously watered down by some people who bandy around the name and whatever, but for people that straight edge has really brought something to their lives, songs like this just give you that reinforcement, give you that, as we say, titanium backbone. Like, these are the things that'll make you go and do a flip onto your bed, as will The Only Way, as well. But yeah, these are the moments that in our youth like meant the absolute world. So even though you've taken a Main Strike song, I'm going to take No Passing Phase.
I mean, how can you not? And your Ben should definitely take some off The Only Way. It's fucking great. But yeah, I mean, as an edgeman, this is like where it's at. This LP rips so hard. This is the title track. No Passing Phase. No, You Won't See Me Ashamed. Come on, dude. So sick. Yeah, absolutely love it. Clevo, it is a heartbreak round. What is your final pick of the year 1999?
See, Dan, you didn't really have to make a choice because you should just take The Only Way this round. There you go.
That's what's up. And Ben should too. The whole, yeah.
I'm gonna go in the heartbreak round. Honestly, my list was pretty short tonight, and I don't feel like I'm leaving a lot on the table. I don't have a lot of honorable mentions. I'm gonna take Time Flies, Keep It Shut from the On Our Way LP.
Ooh, nice.
This is, I mean, I don't think that you would ever, look or hear Time Flies and think that they're like hard in any way, but this is like probably the hardest song in their catalog. This one just really kind of stands out on the LP to me, and it's really really a standout track, in their catalog, like I said, because it is pretty hard compared to the rest of the catalog. And also got to give a shout out to my top gooner, Kurt Powers. So Time Flies, Keep It Shut from the On Our Way LP.
Dude, this LP sounds really good. And I remember enjoying it at the time, although I never really went back to it. I feel like Time Flies kind of got burned by Count Me Out, like putting out such a spectacular LP the next year and kind of being the same crew of dudes, right? And they got overshadowed and maybe broke up.
Yeah,
Dan, am I getting that wrong?
Yeah, they shared some members.
Well, like Charlie like joined Time Flies, and then it was basically okay, we're gonna break up, and then like, and then Count Me Out took Colin, or I don't know if Colin was always in, but yeah.
No, yeah, you're right. Colin went over, and Pete went from drums in Count Me Out to playing second guitar.
Yeah,
and then Colin went to drums.
This is a cool pick. This is sick. Ben, you like this, don't you?
Yeah, I got this when it came out. I saw them at the Chain Reaction, and Kurt he had one of those cordless microphones, and it wasn't working, and he kept on having to bang the thing to get it to like kick back into place. It was the John Coyle cordless mic style. But yeah, I first heard them when the demo came out. I guess that was the year before, and then I got this when it came out, and it's pretty good. I don't revisit it very often, but it's like a solid, Youth Crew record from that time.
I love this LP. I spent a lot of time with this LP. This is that perfect in between, like, that very octavey. I mean, it's very in my eyes, but it just has such charisma, and the upbeat mosh parts, like the real like upbeat things throughout this through this LP are really great. I definitely high recommend to people to check out.
Hell yeah. Ben, Heartbreak Round, number 7. What are you taking?
I'll tell you what I was going to take until I was going to take We Don't Care at All by Atari. Shout out Octavio, our favorite octave guitarist to talk about on the pod. But I'm going to have to put that on. I can't even say I'll put it on the back burner because this is it. For all the glory, I'm going to pick The Only Way by 10 Yard Fight. As long as there's breath in this body, my blood will run pure. Jun, 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 through these veins. I can't find an excuse. Whatever. I'm not going to do the whole song. In fact, I can't. That's probably all I remember. But it's so good. And I listened to this within the last month or two again. And I'm like, I think I was washing the dishes and I was like singing along rather loudly. And I'm sure I scared the dog.
Did you break any dishes?
Didn't break any dishes, thankfully. Probably scared the dog. Probably gave Florence second thoughts on who she decided to live her life with. But what a great record. When this came out, I don't know. I mean, of course I was going to buy it. It was 10 Yard Fight. But my friend Kevin is like, this is actually the best thing 10 Yard Fight did. I think he thinks that. I don't know where I stand when it comes to ranking the records, but God damn it, what a great one.
It's up there.
It's so good, dude. And one of the records I thought about when I came up with the side A, side B concept, because like all of side B of this record is fucking spectacular. I love this thing so much, and it sounds great. So this record rules, straight up. God damn it, dude. Heartbreak Round. Well, you know what I want to take, and I'm gonna say it and not take it. So so Dan can swoop it and make our playlist perfect. Because we should have all taken 25 to Life covering As One. It should have been number 1 pick. We should have all had it for our number 1s in round 1. We could have broken the rules a little bit. But I'm gonna take something that I alluded to a round or so ago. I'm gonna take the Skit System song "Pain, Death, Hate" off an LP that I'm gonna butcher, like us talking about Froy. Gravarld Svarta Tanker came out in '99. Dude, this LP sounds so good, and like, again, it's like the year before Tragedy hits. It's kind of in that lane, obviously not as melodic, but if you love like His Hero Is Gone, you love Death Threat, you love Tragedy, you probably already know about this band. They're pretty canon for people that are like in that world. But I would just say, you know, if you're a dude that only likes tragedy, like that's as far as you want to go in this genre. This is a record worth listening to just because sonically it sounds so perfect. Like the drums are gnarly and big. The guitar is super distorted, but like it's not like the buzzsaw like sound. It's like a really nice sounding heavy guitar tone. It's just really a perfect sounding heavy record, but like, you know, all those bands, like it's tried and true hardcore, right? It starts out like mid tempo, very heavy on the mid tempo, and then busts fast, and then ends mid tempo into a little like final fast flourish. But this thing just kicks ass, and I think it should be mentioned because it's like a really notable record from that year. And yeah, are any of you familiar with it?
No.
All right then, Dan, let's go to you for your number 7.
I'm familiar with it, but it is something that I should definitely revisit more in this time in my life. Same with a few of the things that Clevo's been talking about. It's stuff that like I definitely have in my record collection and like maybe listened to once or twice at the time, and definitely need to dive back in and actually get serious with it.
Yeah, and this is on streaming and it's still in press. So like there's no excuse. Everyone check it out. Dan, are you taking 25 to Life covering As One?
I'm not. I'm going to let that be the first pick on the listeners list. I'm taking a song from an LP that came out this year that is the most earworm song of it's close to the most earworm song of all time. It's so catchy, it's so beautiful, it's so melancholic and tragic, and yet so amazing. It's featured in the film Instrument by Fugazi, and you know that it is so catchy because there's countless footage of the band whistling this riff over and over and over again, or whistling the vocal melody. Actually, it's "I'm So Tired" by Fugazi. It's just Ian and a piano, and it's one of the most incredible songs I've ever heard in my life. I love it to this day, and it's in 1999, so I got to take it.
Dude, 58 million listens. God damn.
Yeah.
That's insane. That's insane. Ben, you want to speak on this?
Yeah, I was on the End on End episode recently where we talked about Instrument, the documentary, because that has a separate catalog number than the Instrument soundtrack. But I think I did mention on it that I'm So Tired is the second most listened to Fugazi song on Spotify behind Waiting Room and number 2 by a comfortable margin, which is very odd. If you were a Fugazi fan in the 90s, this was not your second favorite Fugazi song. I mean, maybe it was, but this was not like a hit. Like they never played this song live. Ian didn't come out on stage with a fucking piano and do this song, you know?
He came out with a guitar.
That would have been sick.
Yeah.
That would have been sick. Okay, Clevo, you want to speak on this?
No.
Okay. Right on. Okay, so let's go into honorable mentions. First of all, Shameful. No one took Main Strike, Hopeful Days. Youth Crew. 25 to Life. The song Backfire off that first LP. Also, 25 to Life doing As One. Although they don't do the guitar solo, which is kind of a bummer. Just like, you know, bring someone into the studio and have them do it if you can't do it. That's kind of a buzzkill. 10-Yard Fight, the whole B-side of The Only Way 7-inch. Fucking A. That 7-inch rules. The band 15 chose 3 songs off their LP Lucky, Stolen Life, Evolve, Welcome to Berkeley, love them all. Also, the song Lucky is sick with a guitar solo that's so good. They do it twice in the same song, same guitar solo. Count Me Out. What We Built, I think, came out in 98. It was still on my short list. I was thinking about line stepping. The band DSB, that whole 7-inch, the Radical Sharp Shot, Death Threat, the whole Severing the Last Barred Window. The band Dynamo, their Police State 7-inch, sick. Also from Ashes Rise, that Life and Death 7-inch. Disclose, Nightmare Nightmare or Reality, the LP, the Life's Halt song To the Heart. Fucking A. It's like the longest, sickest, fast riff. I love it so much. That's what I got. Dan, honorables, what's up?
Yeah, I can't believe I didn't get this into the list. There's two songs here that are really like the ones that I thought were going to be on there. Hope of Realization by Knuckle Dust off the Stamping Ground split, and Escapist by the Hope Con off of the demo. Oh my god, that song's so good. Hopeless Romantic by Bouncing Souls. That song is so catchy. And then I've just got some LPs that I absolutely loved in this year, which Blink-182, Enema of the State, Dead Nation, Dead End, Death by Stereo, If Looks Could Kill. There's like 5 songs off that record that could easily be on my list as well. I loved the Fast Time 7-inch at the time, especially. Every single song off the In Control demo, like the Nardtro. How is the Nardtro not on anyone's list? That needs to be on someone's list. I'm going to say, like, some of the, you referenced a bunch of those splits. That Leatherface Hot Water Music split, so good. Time Flies LP. Those are some of my favorite things from this year. So much good stuff.
Clevo, honorable mentions.
Let's see. A Poor Excuse, the Crashed Out, Wasted, Useless, Hated LP. Let's see. I wasn't sure and I couldn't verify when this came out. The Get High LP either came out in 98, 99, or 2000. I don't know who to believe. So I didn't take anything off of it. 454 Big Block, the Save Me From Myself LP, particularly the Department of Youth Services. Swingin' Utters, Teen Idolize 7-inch, the single. Torches of Rome, that record's fucking great. Dropkick Murphys, Pipe Bomb on Lansdowne, and Fast Break. I'm really not going to say anything about the Fast Cars, Fast Women, or the Whenever You're Ready LP. But the song Thanks for Trying is fucking great. And of course, I got to shout out The Proof by 10 Yard Fight because I wrote that shit.
Hell yeah. Ben, you have 30 seconds.
Carry On, What Once Was, Atari, We Don't Care at All, Main Strike, Hopeful Days, Fast Break, Music Is My Girlfriend, One Last Wish, My Better Half, recorded in 86 but released in 99. No Reply, I'm Still Fucking Pissed, Fugazi, Arpeggiator demo, Hot Water Music, It's Hard to Know, Kill Your Idols, Hardcore circa 1999, Planes Mistaken for Stars, Fucking Fight, Kill Holiday, Someday You Will Lose and I Will Win, Trial, Reflection, Speak 714, Stand and Diminish, As Friends Rust, Like Strings, Spell It with a K, In Control, Hometown Pride, Eyelid, Conflicts Invitation, Kids Like Us, Truth Alone Triumphs, Affront, Fallen Stars, 7-inch, Fair Fuck, Self-Titled, 7-inch from Norway, and the Torches to Rome and Bread and Circuits LPs.
Nice.
Good job, Ben. Nailed it. I'm going to add one In Control 7-inch, one In Control demo story before we get out of here. So the In Control demo comes out. Our bass player, Chris Holden, is going to Cal State Northridge. One of his roommates is selling drugs, and they get robbed. Chris wasn't there, but like dudes come in with fucking Uzis and tie everyone to the chairs and shit, and they stole the In Control demo from the spot. And I always think about that because it's like they get in the car and they chuck in the tape. They're like, "What is this shit?" And like straight up, we get signed to Roadside Records. So,
well, I only recognize Micah as the first bass player.
Wait, didn't the Abused, like, didn't they get turned on to like punk and hardcore because they like stole a car and they I don't think it was the Abused, but some band from New York stole a car and there was like a hardcore tape in it, and that's how those dudes got into hardcore.
Dude, that rules so hard. Dan, where can people find you?
On Instagram at Southport Instagrammer, and at the Whistle Stop every third Friday doing Fucking in the Bushes, a Britpop night, and at Leisure at the Cat Club every fourth Friday doing a Britpop club up north in Northern California, in San Francisco.
That rule. Hell yeah. Ben, where can the people find you?
On Instagram at Future Confusion. Future Confusion is the name of my band. You can listen to EP1 on Bandcamp, and it is on all streaming services as well.
Hell yeah. Clevo, where can the people find you?
You can find me on Instagram at Clevo and probably somewhere around Lakewood because I still don't have a job. So I'm living the high life.
Dude, you're going to be a working man by the time this comes out. That's for sure.
I hope so.
Everyone, get at me, 185milessouth at gmail.com. I respond to everyone. Also, the socials, 185 Miles South on Instagram, on Twitter, and on Threads. My personal, Zach Retaliate on Instagram. And you know, Retaliate is the best on Instagram. Everyone, we love you all. We'll talk to you again next Monday on Patreon.